Marvel Phase 4 has not gone exactly according to plan, and as we look to the future, it may be a familiar face to help change the fortunes for the MCU. According to comicbook.com, Thor 5 is rumored to be in development, but even more noteworthy, director of Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder, Taika Waititi, is not yet signed on. Christian, what are your thoughts hearing this news?
I really hope he doesn't sign on. I mean, Taika Waititi is a great filmmaker. He's all of his films are funny. They're always good. But this last Thor just was not it for me. I did not
So they're
like
not
it.
always good.
Not always good, but dude, Thor Love and Thunder, bro. Did not like it. I wouldn't be sad if he didn't sign on for it. I mean, Chris Hemsworth even criticized Love and Thunder, saying that it was too silly for its own good, and that in the future he wants Thor to be taken more seriously, which I get, because Thor Love and Thunder, they just like made fun of Thor throughout the entire movie. And in Endgame and in Infinity War, he was epic, you know what I mean? And then in Ragnarok, like Ragnarok was a comedy, but Thor was still a pretty cool character, pretty epic character. So I hope Taika doesn't come in for this one.
Well, isn't it ironic, though, when you think of the first two Thor movies, how much did you enjoy them? Like, if you had to rate both of those movies on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you enjoy them?
One was mid, did not like two at all. Two was like,
Okay.
still think hands down the worst Marvel movie.
So, like a 5 out of 10 between the both
Yeah,
of them. Okay.
yeah.
And isn't it ironic, though, that Thor Ragnarok, again, which, as you mentioned, was a comedy, essentially saved the Thor character,
Mm.
but they just couldn't reverse course after that because, of course, Taika's going to do the fourth one, and of course, Taika's going to do what he knows and do what was successful in Thor Ragnarok. So we kept the character silly, and it was, as you mentioned, perhaps to the character's own detriment because
Yeah.
you're not alone in saying that you did not love Thor Love and Thunder. Thor Love and Thunder was just not a well received movie overall, and I think part of it was because it was humor in place of drama when it didn't need to be, like particularly when you consider some of the ramifications, some of the stakes in that movie. You have literally a character who you've known since the first Thor movie who's dying of cancer, and it's kind of a little bit of a joke. And you literally have a guy named Gore the God Butcher, and he's not even taken as seriously as he probably should be. And
Mm.
you have whole pantheons of gods whenever they go on to that separate world, the god world or whatever it was. And even that's a little bit of a jokey, humorous scene. They have the dumpling god or whatever,
Mm.
and you have Zeus, who's a joke character, and you have Russell Crowe cast as Zeus, and you kind of waste
Mm.
him. So yeah, there was some major issues I had with the last Thor movie. Now, if you're going to the end credit scenes, they did set up a Thor 5. I was relieved that they didn't kill Thor because part of the MCU's issues, let's face it, they're missing RDJ. They're missing Chris Evans. If they would have killed off Thor and we didn't have Chris Hemsworth anymore, what would we have? We would have a lot of mystery. Basically, we have Tom Holland, and I know there's mixed feelings about everyone else, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, we would also have Captain America and Bucky, but we'll see how that next film is. I
Well, we
mean,
don't even get Samuel L. Jackson in his prime anymore. Now people are mixed on Samuel L. Jackson after Secret Wars or Secret Invasion came out.
yeah, yeah, dude.
Brie Larson's still a divisive character. Who else? Shang-Chi, we still have to see how that one turns out.
Even people were divisive with Doctor Strange too, and Doctor Strange is a really good
Yes,
character.
Benedict Cumberbatch, like people don't know how to feel coming off of Multiverse of Madness. They were setting the expectation high, especially coming off of that third Spider-Man movie. Multiverse of Madness was supposed to be way better than it was. They hyped it
Yeah,
up as we're going to have the most multiverse characters. We're going to have the most MCU characters of any film since Endgame, and they didn't accomplish that. Spider-Man 3 did it a lot better.
oh yeah, that movie's legendary, dude. Like you said, in the last Thor movie, based off the criticisms, there was brilliant actors in that film that were wasted, like Christian Bale. Like,
We
dude,
had Christian Bale as a
yeah,
villain. Like,
wasted. dude.
DCU would kill to have Christian Bale come back and either be Batman or be a villain. MCU,
Yeah.
you had Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher, and you wasted him. He's dead
Yeah.
now, too. You wasted him because he's done after that film. It's a one-off character. You're never going to get that back. You're never going to have that element back. You absolutely wasted him. And yes, I do think that is Taika's fault. And I think, as you mentioned, Taika is a brilliant comedic director, comedic actor. I've liked him in Free Guy. I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows. I love what he's done with that show, albeit there is some seasons that have a little bit of a drop-off, but I like his humor in that show as well. And what he did in Thor Ragnarok was next level, because Thor Ragnarok, probably a top 10 all-time comic book film, right?
Oh, yeah. It's really good. Really good.
Like, there's some heavy hitters up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some heavy hitters in that top 10. Like, let's face it, Dark Knight's top 10, Avengers Endgame's top 10, the first Avengers is top 10, maybe Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire. But Thor Ragnarok deserves a place in most people's top 10s, I feel, if we were actually to do the list. And it was just completely undone by Thor Love and Thunder, which is wild.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you heard about this, but there were videos and photos that were released after Thor Love and Thunder came out that pretty much showed that the filming of that movie was just basically a giant party. Like, even Chris Hemsworth said that every day was a party. So obviously it shows that they did not take that movie seriously, like, at all. Like, no one did. Even the people, like, making the film, the crew didn't even take it seriously.
And I think that James Gunn is a great person to look at and see that you can balance humor and you can balance drama, because what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy 3, one of the few rare hits in the MCU Phase 4, was there was some deep, heartfelt moments in that movie, but the comedy still slapped. Like, what they were doing with Dave Bautista in there was the scene where, like, Nebula can't, like, get in the car, with Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
That's like an all-timer.
The first F-bomb, yeah.
Yes, the first F-bomb scene. But you balance that by seeing Rocket literally see all his friends die in front of him, and that moment doesn't escape you. You're feeling for this cartoon raccoon.
Oh, yeah. James Gunn hit that one right out of the park.
Like, Taika just couldn't do that. Again, you just didn't feel any kind of true empathy, like in the moments with Jane Foster when she's dying of cancer. Like, they had to undercut it with a joke. They had to undercut every serious moment with a joke. And that was the issue. That was the issue with Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah, it just wasn't good. I'm just really hoping that 5 is good and they make it as epic as they can.
Now here's the thing. Here's the balance, though, you have to find. So again, the first 2 Thors, they were okay. They were serious, but they were people's least loved Thors. Thor Ragnarok, amazing. 10 out of 10, practically. Thor Love and Thunder, bad, but bad for different reasons. So Thor 2 and Thor 4, bad in their own respects, but one's boring, and one is too funny for its own good.
Yeah.
How do you find that in Thor 5 to kind of capture that magic again? I think a new director is a great place to start. Someone who's more of a visionary. I'm not going to throw out directors' names because, like, everyone's got their own version. Who knows? Maybe they find like an up-and-comer who kind of has a vision for this, but they just need to think outside the box. And you do already have a setup storyline there with what they did with Hercules at the very end of Thor 4 in the end credits. So maybe it's Battle of the Gods type stuff going on between Hercules and Thor, but ultimately Hercules is a good guy, so we know they end up becoming friends, so that maybe they end up fighting a greater threat, whoever that may be. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll see, but I mean, it doesn't surprise me that Thor 5 is in development. I'm sure that Marvel knows that Thor is their main dude right now because of money.
Give you a little bit of money man's out here. When you have Chris Hemsworth on your roster, you use Chris Hemsworth. He's going to sell tickets. Even if the movies aren't necessarily great, even if his performance isn't 10 out of 10 or winning the Oscars, Chris Hemsworth is money for you. So if you're Disney, you got to use him. He's one of the only surviving members of the original Avengers. And I think they got to use that. I think they got to use him. I think they got to use Mark Ruffalo correctly. I think they need to fix those characters while we still have those characters in this universe.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, please fix Mark Ruffalo too, man. God, you guys butchered him so bad. Please fix him too.
Yeah.
God.
All right,
man.
guys. Well, speaking of, Gorg the God butchering what they did to Mark Ruffalo. Anyway, guys, Thor 5. Are you excited? It sounds like an electric movie coming to theaters in development. What are your thoughts about it? Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Check out more videos on our channel. We love you. We'll see you next time from Juju and Christian.